Zaslow, we have used you as a bit of an arbiter, a judge, an impartial person, and over the years here, you haven't been here when I have broken what the people here are telling me are acceptable public social norms, in that I will put lotion on my body in front of people. Are you good with that, or are you not good with that?
No problem. If you're ashy, you got to do something about that.
Okay, but in front of people, though, you got to do something about it. But they've told me that's something you do in private. You do it in your bedroom. You do it in your bathroom. They've told me that also of Q-tips when I come out of the bathroom.
Oh, no, that's no good.
That's no good?
No, that's no good.
It's Bond villain stuff. It's just you're trying to have a sincere conversation with a gentleman, and he starts applying lotion on his own skin. It's a little strange.
No, I'm okay with the lotion. I mean, you're not rubbing it on your belly in front of me.
No, it's mostly my arms and my elbows, but it is sometimes my legs. I'm bringing all this up for a reason, okay? Because Tony just did something that I think is more of a violation than what I've ever done.
Tony.
Because, Tony, do you even know what you were doing?
I know exactly what I was doing, and that was a quick thing, and I put it back there, and that was it.
Okay, but to tell
Not going to get defensive.
To tell the audience what you're doing, too late for that. You're already there.
I'm not defensive.
Which is worse here, Zazzle? You have to pick among these three things, okay? And put it on the poll as well, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Which is worse to do in public? Use a Q-tip, put lotion on your arms, or floss?
Ooh.
Floss?
Tony, you floss just now?
Okay, floss is strong.
Definitely the worst.
Floss is strong. What I had was a floss stick, right? Tiny thing. I had to get one thing, and then I got it out, and I put it there.
What is the stick called? A what stick?
Floss stick.
You objected to the idea that you were flossing while using a floss stick.
Yes, because flossing insinuates that I have a long-ass string tied on my fingers, and I'm going like this. That's not true.
If you're flossing in public, you think you're better than me? You're not.
Tony, you're picking your teeth in front of people?
Did you see it?
I wasn't here.
You were right there.
You
were
weren't
literally
hiding.
sitting
Wait,
right
Roy,
there.
weren't you a toothpick guy?
No.
See,
You never had a toothpick hanging out your mouth?
See,
No.
this is interesting, right? Because flossing is definitely disgusting, but the toothpick is readily available at the hostess desk at a restaurant, implying it's okay to use this in public.
Thank you, Billy.
I believe that Mike Ryan just confused Roy with 1985 Royal shortstop UL Washington, who played with a toothpick in his mouth.
Yes, he did.
I also confused him with you, because you were big into that. Cinnamon
toothpick.
Yes.
You were one of those with the cinnamon
Yeah,
toothpick?
you were Swagger Jack and Razor Ramon.
Yep.
So you're going to say that about me, knowing your background.
Oh, I don't think the toothpick is as bad as flossing.
I was using the toothpick end. There's a floss end and a toothpick end.
I believe if I said it out to the audience and I said, which are you more okay with? Somebody in public flossing or using a toothpick? That one's coming back in my favor, Tony. You're going to lose.
It literally has a toothpick
That's
at the
not
end
the
of it.
part you were using. You were using the string, and the string had remnants on it when you pulled it out of your mouth.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip ball. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man to man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back.
Juju also put it on the poll, are you afraid of Q-tips? Because Zaslow just whispered to me that he's afraid of Q-tips, and I will say there have been a handful of times while using Q-tips that I've been afraid of Q-tips because they can hurt your ear, and they can certainly – what are you shaking your head about?
No, they
Tony?
say a lot of things, Dan. If you know what you're doing, if you're a sniper with it, if you're exactly where you need to be, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm afraid of Q-tips, but I'm not afraid of Q-tips in the way that, like, the woman on Maury Povich, they show her pickles and she runs out and she screams. Like I'm not afraid of Q-tips like that. I'm afraid of using Q-tips.
I don't think
never do.
I don't think there's a more ridiculous thing you could be afraid of. That's where I stand.
All right, put it on the poll as well. Is there a more ridiculous thing to be afraid of than the Q-tip? You don't want to do damage to your ear. Tony, though, when he says he's a sniper, he's showing the Q-tip the proper respect because I only get in trouble when I'm casual about it, when I forget that the Q-tip is not to be treated casually.
It's like it's like Ron McGill. You're handling a wild animal, all right? You're handling a tiger, an elephant, a bear, whatever it is. You got to go in with a certain respect, right? You go in, Q-tip, I know your power. Your power can leave me deaf. But what I'm going to do is go just around the rim right there. Boom, I'm done.
Hearing about it.
All right, put it on the poll.
Dirty eye ears?
As well, at Le Batard Show.
Q-tips aren't the only thing that you can clean your ear with.
Should you approach a Q-tip the way you do a bear? He's just because I think, hey, bear, this is not the way. Ron McGill has told us don't do it cautiously. Go in aggressively with your arms up in the air, yelling, hey, bear, and make yourself larger if you run away. Or if you're too cautious, the bear will smell your fear. So that is not how to treat a Q-tip.
No, but it depends which color bear. Black and brown, you got to treat
true.
Black, you do that.
No.
You try and scare. Brown, you get down.
No, I think no, that's not right. It's not. Although that's,
It is right.
that's a
Right
good
about
rhyme.
that.
Brown, you get down. I think. Well, playing dead is one circumstance that you can do, but I believe the advice is for the same for all bears, which is you try at the front end to make yourself large first,
Not
and
the
then
brown.
and then if that doesn't work, you go to play dead. Like if you don't successfully scare the bear and the bear keeps coming at you, then you have to go to play dead.
I have a memory of my dad at one point in my life cleaning his ear by like laying on the couch and putting something like in his ear.
He did like the candle.
The wax.
No,
wax
that thing
thing?
worked.
There's
thing
no
is-
way that works.
I have no idea what it is,
Well-
but just tell what was that? I
Okay.
have some memory of that.
So-
I'm interested in that.
All right. So first of all, please get me one of those nearby. I'd like Zaslow to do it before the end of the show today.
One of what nearby?
I'll tell you, it is an earwax. There's fire involved with this.
Yeah.
You have to set fire to something, and what it does is, without the Q-tip and without the dangers of puncture, it lifts from your ear all sorts of insanity that you did not know was in your ear.
That's not true.
Okay.
I've seen the videos.
So hold on. You're going to tell me a lit candle to my ear.
Not a lit candle.
No, it's like some,
wax
like-
paper.
yeah.
You light some wax paper. It's like a cone or a tube of some sort. You light it, and it pulls from your ear. Whatever the fire does, pulls from your ear. What I'm telling you is we need to go get a bunch of these and do it and compare. I want to compare. Look, we are now showing our audience the insides, the ugly insides of this company. On social media, either soon or it's already gone out, you will see our junk drawers. There are junk drawers are going out, and you're going to find out, like in the inner crevices of what makes a house a home, you're going to find how sloppy and gross this crew is with its junk drawer. What are you laughing about?
Why would the junk drawer be in bed? Like, you're not going to find, like, dirty magazines in the junk drawer. You're not going to find porn. It's stuff that you need.
Okay, but it
I
can
had a
be.
black dildo in mine.
It
I
can
found
be that you're gross.
I
It can-
found a rock hard Starburst. It must have been in there for like 7 years.
I found a Christmas ornament yesterday that made me feel the same. I'm like, why is this? Why is this in here? That doesn't make any sense. Why is this here? I haven't seen this in 7 years. It hasn't been on the tree. What is this doing in here? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. I want an over/under here. Over/under on number of items that would surprise you to find in your own junk drawer.
Well, they're going to say ear.
What is the number that I have to put that at in order to make that competitive? 5, 4.5? Where do I have to put the number, the over/under number on surprises? You're going to open your junk drawer and you haven't looked at it in a while. And I'm going to tell
3.5.
what's in there, how much of it will surprise you. I think it's going to be higher than that. No. All right. We're going to do that. We're
We're
going
all
to show
going to have
you.
kind of the same things, though, right? Pens and clips and this and that. And, like, there's other things that are going to be totally
So this,
wild.
that, and the other type of thing.
Exactly right.
Well, one of our employees stunned me when she opened her junk drawer, and there was very clearly a young and shirtless Greg Cody. So while Zaz says I'm not going to find any porn in there, shirtless Greg Cody in somebody's junk drawer is
Porn to someone.
suspicious. I'm just going to call it suspicious and leave it at that. But please, somebody out there at Meadowlark Media, before the end of the show today, find me the wax paper that we can do on air, hopefully live here, where we are taking junk out of our ears and find out what's happening there. Did you guys have any reaction to the news yesterday that the Dolphins are saying that Proctor is starting at guard? Because I do have a natural aversion. I really do, to guard play in this sport, because I've watched football all my life, and I never noticed the guard. And there have been plenty of Hall of Fame guards. I'm not saying that the guard is not important. I'm just saying that when watching football, I generally don't notice what the guards are doing ever for any reason.
There are also guards that develop into tackles.
Well, that's what's going to happen here.
Potentially, or you can be kept at guard. I know, look, you may hold that as a slight against him. Mawanoa was a pillar at right tackle for the University of Miami. The Giants came out and said they're starting him at guard too.
I'm just saying that when I think of benign positions in the NFL, and I got this one wrong on safety because I generally wouldn't draft a safety in the top 10, and there are a couple of safeties that I would be wrong for all time in not doing so because Ed Reed and Palomalu were wildly impactful players. But safety would be a distant second. Like outside of the kicking game and stuff in the kicking game, I don't. Give me the best guard the Miami Dolphins have ever had. Go ahead.
Keith Sims.
That was the first round. It was a first round guard. It's one they took in the first round. Like that, you don't usually take many guards in the first round because of what it is that I'm saying. One of the things that I think that's interesting and happening in the draft, and Ty Simpson, I don't know whether you guys thought he was a reach. I thought that was a reach, but I think that I might be looking at what it is that McVay and some of the smarter coaches in the NFL who have to be ahead of the curve, that they're noticing something that I'm not. I told you, I've said many times before, the disposable running back, that was me getting old on television in real time, where I was making the argument on behalf of you have to sign all the girlies of the world long term, the Dalvin Cooks, and the sport just blew past me in terms of how they were doing, where they find value. I think the same thing has happened the last couple of years quietly in the NFL, where the guys who are the quarterback whisperers, whether they're taking J.J. McCarthy or Ty Simpson, they're willing to take the second best quarterback, even if he shouldn't be drafted in the top 15, because they want to take a gamble with the most valuable thing in the sport, which is, can I get a quarterback cheap? I'll reach on only that position because I think I can get a quarterback cheap, and there's no greater advantage that I can have than having a quarterback cheap. Don't even tell me he's good. Just give me the second best quarterback in the draft, even if he's not any good. Even if J.J. McCarthy has been hidden for an entire season by a Jim Harbaugh who's winning the championship by hiding his quarterback, that there's a new model in the NFL where the second best quarterback, whether he's any good or not, is going to get taken in the top 15.
I'm not even sure it's a new model. It's scarcity at the position. We kind of had a similar discussion last year when Cam Ward went number 1. Cam Ward last year was a number 1 overall pick. If he entered the draft a year before with the same kind of hype surrounding him, he might have been the 3rd or 4th quarterback taken off the board. Ty Simpson, in a weaker class, was indeed, by consensus, the 2nd highest rated quarterback on the board, and usually they go in the 1st round, no matter what. Even when we had, prior to rookie wage scales, it is the game's most important position.
Dan, is this about ego for the coaches, right? We talked a couple of weeks ago about coaches in the NFL not wanting a guy who thinks too much. Run my offense, right? That's what we talked about. John Gruden, you're going to run these sets of plays, and like this is what it's going to be. Is that not the hubris and the ego of Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, of guys like, hey, I know what my offense can do. If I can get a guy who can just do what I need him to do, like J.J. McCarthy did for KOC, it was like, all right, let me get him, let me plug him into my system, and now we're looking at Sam Darnold walking away for $100 million, JJ McCarthy not being that guy. Now you got Kyler Murray. It's like kind of the ego of Kevin O'Connell saying, I can do anything.
There's no doubt those coaches have ego. I mean, Stafford was a great player, came over there, became an MVP and a Super Bowl champion, but he proved that he could do it with Goff. He turned Goff's career around. But I'm not even so sure this was a Sean McVay call. Let's watch this footage from the NFL draft, and let's see how excited Sean McVay was to even speak with Ty Simpson.
I'm going to pass you to your new head coach, Sean McVay.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
What's up, Coach?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, man. Well, congratulations, man. Excited to get to work with you. It's going to be a lot of fun, buddy.
Let's go make history, Coach.
Yeah. No, and hey, enjoy this night, man. You earned it. Have fun. Tell your family we're excited to meet them, and can't wait to get going with you, buddy.
Yes, sir, Coach. Appreciate you.
Okay. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah.
What history are they
That
gonna
last
make?
look.
You always want to hear no after you're telling somebody, let's make history. He had to overcorrect because after that call, he had the press conference, which a lot of people read into because Sean McVay looked pissed about it. He has since softened his public perception of it a little bit.
Well, why did they lie about having never met?
I'm not exactly sure. But what has come out since this happened was the relationship appears to be between Les Snead and Ty Simpson's father, who was a football coach, came up the ranks knowing Ty Simpson's dad.
I think they're like best friends,
There was
right?
a pre-existing relationship there. And as I mentioned before, when Miami was talking to Ty Simpson, he was getting tons of feedback from the NFL. If I had to pinpoint one team that pushed him into the NFL draft process, it was specifically the feedback that he got from the Rams, a well-respected front office.
When Zaz asks the question about lying, there are some questions around all of this that are curious because I did think he went way too high. I think he's too small. And I also think the idea of quarterback whisperer is overstated, even though if you were to assign somebody the designation, McVay would be the worthiest of those. Goff was consensus #1 pick. Like Goff
in
was
a weak class and also considered a project.
But he was considered a bit of a golden child, and
He was just really bad
terrible.
in terms of win-loss record in college, which scared a lot of people.
He was also terrible when he started in the pros, and McVay did fix that. But this was a top of the first round talent by everybody who saw him play in college, and he started slowly. You understand why I'm objecting to the idea of quarterback whisperer. You guys think it of O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy. Maybe. It just takes a long time to learn the position, and I don't know that there are a ton of guys. Well, I do know there aren't a ton of guys who can do it well because we've seen how hard it is, and not many are quarterback whisperers. But when you ask about the lies, Simpson said after all of this that he had secret meetings with McVay, and that doesn't appear to be true either. Like, there are people questioning how much interest the Rams actually had, because Ty Simpson, I think he went on with Amber, and he was saying about a meeting, and then they asked some follow-ups about a meeting, and he sort of started to backtrack because he realized he had said something that I think sounded like it might not be true.
Yeah.
That all of this interest from the Rams wasn't what you might think it is, and I think it might just be the combination of McVay's got an MVP at quarterback that the last couple of years they've seemed like they're about to break up. Like, Stafford was going to end up somewhere last year and then became MVP of the Rams. You got an old quarterback, and I have no idea how much longer he's going to play. But when I think of violence done to the body in that sport and resiliently overcoming it, I think of Stafford very high on the list just because of how he played in Detroit.
He's so tough.
And how terrible it was to play in Detroit when they were bad around him and he was one of their few good players. But is McVay walking a line here between respecting the guy who's actually done something and being too excited getting on the phone with someone who's talking about making history when McVay's thinking to himself, I've got the MVP. He's the actual history maker.
Well, another bit of context here, Dan, is Stafford was essentially traded to the New York Giants. And Stafford himself said no, and then he ended up having an MVP season. And by all accounts, we're at the end of Stafford's career here. This may very well be the last season. And so McVay is probably looking at it. He's got a team. They made an aggressive deal for McDuffie. They got a team that most people would handicap as one of the favorites inside the NFC. He's like,
I think they are the favorites.
Ty Simpson's not going to help me capitalize and seize on this Stafford window. Super Bowls are hard to come by. I need someone to help me win a Super Bowl right now. And I think that's probably where the disagreement between Sean and Les Snead was.
The Rams, I know we love using this phrase, a team is all in, as if many of them aren't all in on winning the Super Bowl that particular season. But the Rams are particularly all in on that because of how close they were last year and because of what they've done to correct what was their weakness last year, which is what are we going to get from our corners when we've got pass rush, or on the times that we don't have pass rush. What they've shored up their corners in a way that suggests they're playing for this year, like that McVay's not looking beyond Stafford in any way.
The Rams, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, are the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
The one thing that would signal that is a curious move that is not about this year is the drafting of Ty Simpson. It drew comparisons to when Aaron Rodgers needed some help, and they just kept they drafted Jordan Love. This is not that. This is an aggressive front office that has shown they can go out and build a team around its quarterback and be aggressive there. It's the one time that you've seen the Rams and been like, well, they're forward thinking here. They're finally preparing for a post-Stafford world.
And the Rams are very much a team that likes veterans, right? Like, you look at what they do. Sean McVay runs a complicated offense. He runs a complicated system. Stafford, one of the most cerebral quarterbacks that we've ever seen, putting I saw a report that said Malachi Lemon, Sadiq from Oregon, that they had a couple of options to go get weapons for Stafford. And it's like, would those guys even see the field with Sean McVay trying to learn that offense in one offseason and then being ready to go? So it's like maybe what they did is hedge their bets, play for the future, knowing that Stafford is done at the end of 27.
Yeah, maybe don't have an offense so complicated that your players don't understand it.
Well, make a verdict on this, though, if you had to guess, because there are a lot of people having this reaction, right? And I don't know that it's happening necessarily anywhere else with any of the other draft picks. Everybody says they got the players they want. Everyone comes out and does all the hope trafficking. One coach, the guy regarded as the smartest in the sport, I think, or in the conversation, smartest in the sport, is not enthusiastic about it. And if you had to choose between the reasons, it doesn't have to be one, it can be both, but you had to choose between the reasons. He was doing that because he needs to respect his MVP quarterback, or he's doing that because he's genuinely pissed they didn't get him help for right now, because every year is about what's our next game? What's our next game? Don't tell me about 3 years from now. I don't know who's going to be hurt. I don't know what our window's going to be. You have to choose between the two. Which one do you think is right?
I have a hard time believing Stafford is that sensitive. I mean, 2 years ago, he was talking about retiring. Stafford is that sensitive.
Wasn't Aaron Rodgers that sensitive about it?
Yeah, these are different dudes.
Rodgers was still winning an MVP after they drafted Jordan Love. Like
he did say in an interview, McVay, that he was doing that simply because he wanted to show respect to Stafford.
I know,
Stafford's
but like
team.
he's that sensitive, Stafford?
I mean, he was traded. He was traded to the Giants. He had to say no. I guess like that left him a little raw.
You say that sensitive, and yes, if I have to think of Matthew Stafford, he is somebody who has experienced the business. But at the center of what these immortals do on Sundays, like including Mark Andrews, there is a human being. And how would you feel, Zaslow, with the delicate part of we decide your future, you don't decide your future? I know Aaron Rodgers was viewed as sensitive as a multi-time MVP who had a relationship with that city that's a lot longer than the one that Stafford has with his city, because I think of Stafford still as a Detroit guy, and I don't know how much that hurt, everything that like physically hurt or emotionally hurt, that in Detroit they never won anything for him while he was pretty good, and he leaves there sort of broken and has to prove himself elsewhere. I'm curious. Put that in front of the audience. At Le Batard Show, do you think of Stafford as a Lion or a Ram? Because that's where he won, right?
Won a Super Bowl and an MVP as a Ram.
I think it's a Ram.
That's funny that you guys say that. I mean, played for 3 times as long in Detroit, so I think of him as a Lion. I think of him as somebody. Was it 12 years?
When I close my eyes and I think of one throw, it's in a Rams uniform in a Super Bowl.
Hold on, let me close my eyes.
Yeah, I'm closing my eyes now. I'm thinking Rams.
Oh, I just saw the bomb to Cooper Kupp in Tampa. What a throw!
Oh my gosh! And
This is
the
a fun game.
The third throw is the interception that he definitely threw that was just dropped by San Francisco that would have rendered all these other moments useless.
Give me another player.
Don't look at that one anymore.
Give me another player. I'm going to close my eyes. Give me another player.
We can do that, but let me put it on the poll
Give me another
differently
player.
than I did.
Tom Brady.
When you close your
Patriot.
eyes, and think about Matthew
another one.
Stafford, is he in a Lions uniform?
Joe Montana.
Niner.
Peyton Manning.
Colt.
Yeah. Well, but he won the
Yes.
championship in Denver.
Colt.
But he also won a championship in Indianapolis.
Colt.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the ruling. Kerry Collins.
Raider.
Ooh, he went to
Whoa,
a
wow.
Super Bowl as a Giant.
Cade McNown.
Brown.
Cade McNabb.
I don't know.
All right. How about this one?
I don't know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
Bill.
All of them.
Yeah.
He's wearing a multicolored AFC East jersey.
Had some great years with the Jets, though, Chris.
No, but it's just in my mind, when I close my eyes, Fitzpatrick is dropping back to pass, and he's got a neutral jersey that just says AFC East on it. It's not. It's
I
not
just think of a beard.
You know what's weird? Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl and had a huge comeback season with the Vikings, but I still think of him out indefinitely as a New York Jet.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
laryngitis or
Yes.
All right, my eyes are open now. We'll play it again later.
Laryngitis.
no, it's mono. My bad, mono.
No, Chris, we're not playing the game anymore with you because when
Why
he
not?
threw
My
you,
eyes are open.
No, but when he threw Cade McNown to you, you got scared. You said, "I don't know," and you said you didn't want to play
He
the
said
game
Brown.
I
anymore.
said it Brown.
You talking about Josh McCown? Who the
That's
hell's
who I
Cade
meant.
Well, he got it wrong.
No, Cade McNown is a guy, but I meant Josh McCown. You're right.
He's a guy.
That's why I said what?
Luke McCown.
I don't want to play the game. You want to play McCown brother games? Like I don't think of those guys even as quarterbacks. Never mind thinking of them as quarterbacks dropping back to pass in a uniform.
Jeff Garcia.
Niner.
Your eyes aren't closed.
Niner.
You got to get the things right.
Jeff
Chris.
Conine.
You got to get.
Oriole.
Jeff Conine. How many teams did Mr. Marlin play for?
Played for the
I know-
Royals,
Marlins,
and
Dodgers.
Orioles, Phillies.
He played for 7 teams, I think. He played for the Reds. Did he play for the Orioles twice? He played for the Orioles twice.
He's in the
I think.
Mets.
Yeah, he was on the Mets.
He was a Philly at one point.
He had the key to Boog's apartment just like you did for about 6 weeks when he
still
played
got
for
it.
the Mets. They got it. They got him
Jump drawer.
for a pennant run. We've been talking the last couple of days about the University of Miami's open athletic director position, and it's an interesting time for the University of Miami. I don't know that at any point in the University of Miami's history, I would call their athletic director job a good job just because of the things that all the ADs here have had to overcome about Miami being like a weird business town and it not being really a college town or in an area that is collegiate, right? Like it's in Coral Gables, and the University of Miami has often felt a lack of support from its larger administration on understanding just how important the athletic program is to the University of Miami. But what a good job it looks like right now when you're talking about where the basketball team finds itself with a young coach and where it finds itself with a football coach who is committed to the program, is one of the few in the country that I don't think people will talk seriously about him leaving for another job, even if he's here several years doing what he's done. You've got someone who's got a real emotional connection to the program, so you're solid in 2 places. Now, maybe Jay Lucas leaves, but you're solid in the 2 places that you want to be most solid, and I think it's a better job than Radakovich showed he can handle, honestly. He leaves it in a good position, but I feel from talking to the University of Miami people the way that I've talked to them, they were wildly unimpressed by whatever was his leadership vision. They happened into the results, but I don't think they give the results to him based on some sort of merit. he did better work in getting that job with the qualifications before he got here than he did with that job before he treated it the way that I thought Larrañaga was going to treat the last years of his career, which is just mail it in, go to Miami. Radakovich came closer to doing that than Larrañaga did from the people I've talked to.
What Dan is saying is kind of right. I do want to celebrate some of the things that Dan Radakovich got right. Now, when you think about the athletic director position, most people assume he's hiring the coaches. That's not how it worked for Dan Radakovich down here at the University of Miami. Best I can tell, he hired the women's basketball coach after Katie Meyer retired and a soccer coach. He didn't make the Mario Cristobal hire. They kind of walked in the door at the same time. He did not make the Jay Lucas hire. He did not make the baseball hire. In fact, he was overruled on the baseball.
Is that unusual, though?
Typically, the athletic directors, like, you have influential boosters, and certainly when it comes to football, there's a load of opinions at big-time programs. He didn't get to make that hire, but it is a little rare that this guy, as well-respected as he came in, he was very successful at Clemson.
It was celebrated when they hired him.
Right, so that's what I think he did well. That's what he got right. When there wasn't even a search, really, for the athletic director when Dan Radakovich came in. He was very clearly, because he had ties to the University of Miami, because he was well-respected in NCAA circles, Miami wanted to send a message both with its football coach hire and with its athletic director hire that the days of Blake James and the days of underachieving and us being a punchline nationally, those are from a bygone era. We are showing the world that we are serious, and that is exactly what the hiring of Dan Radakovich did. He was well-respected. And what I actually think he did best, it wasn't the hiring coaches, obviously. He did get some buildings approved, and he always fancied himself a man that got facilities built. He did so at Clemson, and he did so here. Wasn't really the relationship with the boosters because he wasn't great at engaging the boosters. Fundraising wasn't really his MO. He didn't seem to have a huge appetite for it, which is why I think many around Miami were happy to see some change there. I think what he did best was navigate this whole ACC mess because I wanted someone way more aggressive. I hated our public stance on it, and I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I had that wrong. FSU spent all the money. FSU tarnished its reputation. Clemson even a little bit tarnished its reputation. Meanwhile, Dan Radakovich, because of his pre-existing relationships inside the ACC and a guy that is pretty careful, he actually navigated that really, really well. Miami did not burn bridges. Miami benefited from this rev share that saw them get so much revenue from the college football playoff, while FSU made themselves out to look like an undesirable partner to other conferences. So I think that Dan Radakovich being careful and playing things by the book actually benefited Miami there.
Roger Clemens.
Yankee.
What?
Now a Blue Jay, eh?
I mean, not a Red Sox.
Freddie Freeman.
Brave.
Put it on the poll, please. Roger Clemens, Yankee, Red Sox, or Blue Jay? Blue Jay, really?
Astro too, Dan.
Yeah, what about the Astros?
Him and Roy Oswald back to back.
Dude, he was
Transition
really good.
season.
He was really good with Toronto.
I'm not disputing that he was
and
really
he got
good.
traded for David Wells.
Resurrected his career.
Let me go on the
in
record. He
Toronto.
was pretty good on most teams he played
Yeah,
for.
that's correct.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Let's get into the meat, though, of what it is that Mike Ryan is saying as to what that job is. In the history of the program, I think Sam Jankovic is viewed as the best athletic director they had because he helped build the start of it and made it a desirable position and then went to the Patriots, was one of the few executives Miami has ever had who was able to go to what was that then, the top of the pros right before Belichick got there and the Patriots became great. Dave Maggard did some janitorial stuff. He was widely respected. Paul D was there for a long time, but basically was there just to be a lawyer because they had so many problems and they needed a lawyer in the position. But what Mike just said about Radakovich wasn't good at fundraising, the people who criticize, the people who I talk to who say he wasn't as interested in doing the parts of the job that we needed done, I thought the job was fundraising now. Like, I was under the impression that while they like to have the power of hiring the coaches and what comes with that, that the business of that has gotten so big, strong, and important that fundraising is the most important part of the job now.
I've been in those rooms when they try to raise funds. Yeah. I mean, I'm a booster, and Dan's supposed to engage with the boosters. I barely spoke to Dan in that capacity. Like, the people that are raising the funds are the collective. And I think that that's important. Look, especially early on, when John Ruiz was plastered everywhere and Miami was getting back in the game and everyone just assumed Miami was doing this in a shady fashion, Miami was kept clean. And Dan Radakovich, yes, he was uncomfortable with this whole new world, but we navigated it, and Miami was clean. And I think a lot of that has to do with, again, the relationships that Dan maintained and his approach to all of this, and also the fact that we have a good collective, and Dan went outside of his comfort zone to trust it. Now, that position definitely needs more fundraising coming out of it. Definitely needs to cultivate new partnerships. People want a track record of someone that has cultivated partnerships. But the big thing here is we're headed to a place where there's probably going to be more realignment, bigger TV deals. What helps, one of the names that is mentioned right now, Michael Yormark, is what his brother did.
Boo that man.
Brett Yormark. What Brett Yormark
Roy,
did.
we haven't heard your opinions on the Yormarks.
No, I gave it on Monday. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. But Brett Yormark, by most accounts, has done a good job in saving the Big 12 after Texas and Oklahoma went. And so the thing that Michael Yormark probably has most going for him is who his brother is.
Oh, for the love of God. I mean, like, I just think of Yormark as somebody who tricks people because he's wearing a suit. Like, he's just a suit. He might as well be a dry cleaning bag.
He does present well.
Good for you. You wake up at 3 a.m. and go to the gym.
Yeah,
shit.
He convinces a lot of people. I mentioned this yesterday. He has this reputation. I saw Gary Furman wrote something about it, and he's like, I think the title was "The Deal Maker at Miami's Door," and it was a very pro Michael Yormark column.
Furman.
And I don't know who this deal maker is. I can't speak to who he was at Rock Nation or what he did there. I think if you lift the hood under Rock Nation, it's not as good as the reputation suggests. But the deal maker was not there 20 years ago when he was fully in charge of the Florida Panthers.
He was a failure with the Panthers.
Huge failure.
Let's bookmark it and talk with Samson about it because the Yormarks have gotten sports business power, and I've just found their resilience to be a little bit confounding. But I'm going to ask David Samson about it. He's got more business expertise than I do.
Brad Lidge. Astro.
Yeah.
I go Philly.
Pitch clock will be later in the show today, and among the things that Jeremy will tackle with Ed Nanverk and others is everything that's changing in management with the Red Sox, where they had one of the managers who was said to have power, but what's happening in sports, this seems to be happening all over the place, less so in football, I guess. The front offices are taking over the middle management, and this has happened for a while in baseball with the managers, but Cora was supposed to be one of the guys who had actual power, and he just had the team sort of taken away from him in a fairly I thought it was a fairly shocking fashion, and I don't get shocked very much by management displacement. But when we talk about the importance of where it is the University of Miami finds itself now, Mike was more positive on Radakovich than my information is. I've never met Radakovich. I only know about things from talking to people who probably aren't as close to the program.
Your AD friends.
As Mike is, just people involved with the school.
Yeah, now's not the time for me to be negative. Look, get a beer in me. I can tell you like his shortcomings, but he's retiring.
Can we get a Miller Lite, please?
He's retiring, and I think that there have been plenty of people out there, especially recently with the Yormark thing, Dan, that have said negative things about Dan and his shortcomings, and I don't think it's a time for that right now.
It doesn't have to be the time for it for you, and I'm just framing it in what the job is today because my information is, not on Radakovich, but generally, my information on what the job is what it has been, and I just think the job is changing so much now that you can put Andrew Luck on top of your organization with no skill set other than he's the guy who can go get $50 million. Like, that the job right now is who's the guy who could go get the money, even if you have a collective, who can make the collective stronger because he's had the relationships with the boosters. That used to be the job.
all it takes with you, one beer, you're letting out state secrets? That's it? One beer?
I'm cautious to who I do it to, you know.
Yapper.
Should we bring in the beer and the earwax and do both at the same time?
Do they still sell the earwax thing?
Yes.
Like, can you get that somewhere?
I don't think it's a thing that you sell. I think it's like a self-made contraption.
No, it's not a self-made contraption. I'm just telling you, it's a cone of paper that you set fire to the top end of it, and
I don't think we're setting fire to paper.
And then it burns down, and it eventually is
David
burning
Cohn.
your ear. Hey, Met.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Not even Yankees? Wow.
I mean, successful with the Blue Jays, too.
Put the picture up, please, of the ear candle so that people can see here. It's not an ear candle, but it sort of looks like a candle. And I'm telling you, it will be good television to, at the end of the live hour today, be able to take these out of our ears and shock the American public with what is in Roy's ear. Roy, I'm accusing you of being someone who's got foul things in his ear.
No.
Bert Kreischer.
When you're taking your shirt off and using your body as comedy, you're going.
That's Florida, bro.
You're going
that's Florida.
maximum
That's
Florida, man.
That's Florida.
When did you decide to start doing that? When was it encouraged? When did that become your signature? The idea that you're up there just throwing your body at the people here in a tight pair of jeans, shirtless.
I was. The jeans have gotten tighter the fat I've gotten. They weren't always tight. My daughter said Baby Walrus needs to move out of skinny jeans. I started doing it just to cheer myself up because you get on the road and do like a Thursday night and you'd be like, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. This is gonna be a long weekend. I'm missing my family. It's not sold out. So I would rip my shirt off and kill a beer to make myself giggle because I thought it was silly and to remind myself this should be fun. And then one night I was in Columbus, Ohio. I ripped my shirt off and killed a beer. And then something happened in the room and I forgot to put it back on. And one of the comics I respected was in the back and he was like, bro, you just did a whole hour with your shirt off.
And how does this work with comfort with your body? Because not everyone can do that. You're the first to be doing that. Not everyone is comfortable enough with their size to be in front of thousands of people shirtless like that because it is funny.
It's interesting because I have this reverse body dysmorphia. So like I heard a story, secret time. Obviously I'll tell you, but secret time. I heard a story that Chris Pratt was a fat kid growing up and that Someone told me like he'll always be fat in his head. No matter how great of shape he is, he'll always think of himself as a fat kid. I was in shape as a kid, and so I do not see myself fat at all. As a matter of fact, I think in Razzle Dazzle, I look low-key jacked. I think I look better than I've ever looked. My shoulders, dude, look at my shoulders.
You are jacked. Oh, yeah. You got some cuts right there. You see it there?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I feel great about my body.
The new Netflix stand-up special, Razzle Dazzle.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bert, stop making those
Never show
faces.
your belly button.
Yes.
Do the thing where you're
Let's increase your female viewers.
make your boobs move.
This is a body you can get.
Razzle Dazzle is the stand-up special. How old would you have to be? What is the age if I came up to you and said, Bert, you're not going to believe this, but the new movie, Machine, it's in theaters in May, and Razzle Dazzle, a Netflix special, is happening. At what point in your career, at what age would you have said, yeah, that's a possible dream?
Oh, 50? Where I am. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Listen, I got to be dead honest with you. I shot Razzle Dazzle in November, and I'm used to the Netflix specials, but with the Machine movie, that was sitting on a shelf.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Very good, very good.
David Samson, nothing personal. We'll talk some baseball with him here. And a reminder that Jeremy Taché is doing many, many baseball things all over the place, including interviewing Liam Hicks on his own television program that can be found where?
Marlins.tv, Dan. Anyone in the state of Florida.
Its own television program.
Yeah,
It's called Talking with Taché.
Yeah, it is. What do you mean? Why are you laughing?
Wordplay.
Did you pick the name or?
It's a good name.
He's got a lot of jobs, and David Samson, I've got some baseball questions for David Samson, but first, as our resident germaphobe, polite or impolite to put lotion on your body in front of people?
At the beach?
No, like here at the office.
Unacceptable. Go to the bathroom.
Polite or impolite to use a Q-tip in public?
In your ear?
Yeah.
Hey, fist me,
okay,
dude.
no, in your... No.
Up your.
Yeah, up your.
If you're using a Q-tip to clean a surface, or you're using a Q-tip in a way then that's fine. If you're using it to clean an orifice, do it on your own time.
An ear.
Nope.
Polite or impolite to floss in public?
The string floss? Out of the question.
Okay, what
there
about
are these things you can use that are they're like scope little things with tiny strings.
The sticks.
Or a tooth
That's
stick.
what Tony was doing. Yes.
Tony, that's fine, but you got to do the hand cover. I learned this from Ichiro. You do the hand cover where you it's what you do in Japan. You take the toothpick or the floss stick, you cover your mouth, and you do your teeth. Just like that. That's totally fine, and that's expected at restaurants, actually. That's why there's toothpicks at restaurants.
Thank you, Dave. So Dan came in during the Shadow Show, was like, Tony did something disgusting. He was picking his teeth with floss. And I was like, first off, did not use floss. Floss indicates that I've got it around my hip and fingers like a long fishing wire and taking stuff out of my teeth, which I wasn't. I had a tiny little I had a tiny little floss stick.
He said fish, he didn't mean to.
Floss stick, okay, and I took out one little piece, and I had turned around, Dave. I was facing Bat Riley over here. This is exactly what I did.
Bat Riley?
Tone.
If that's true, Dan, That's
No,
legitimate and expected because if you're going to be on TV, you don't want a head of lettuce in your teeth.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Tony has wildly misrepresented everything, and it's not the worst thing about what just happened. Okay? I don't know what happened to Tony, but the only reason I noticed is not because he turned his back to me and not because he had his hand covering it. It's because he was flicking shit out of his teeth in front of everybody. And so the thing that I want to do with you, which of these three things is the least polite of the three? It took me a while to get here, but which would mortify you the most? Any of the three examples I gave you?
It is just unbelievably disgusting to have string floss around your fingers and floss your teeth.
No, that's not the one he was
public.
doing. He was doing it with a stick, but he wasn't doing it discreetly. He was basically.
The hand was not up.
Nobody else noticed but you.
Okay, he might as well have been flossing with a towel between his legs. It was such an act of intimacy that I shouldn't have been seeing.
Is it old man crocodile arms with skin flakes coming off during the lotioning process?
It's just lotion on the skin. It's not disgusting flakes on the floor.
Because that would win. Just regular lotion would not rise to the level of extracting a piece of food from your teeth in front of people.
Have you ever?
But lotioning your arms when flakes are coming off, that would be like scratching your dandruff in a meeting.
Have you ever done an ear candle?
That's a private question.
What?
That's the question. No,
Not that I
you're
haven't
not-
paid for.
That's okay.
Oh,
You're not
wow.
willing. You're not willing to answer that question. Zazzle's
No,
been,
I have not.
All right. Just tell me what we need to do here because I've gotten us in a bit of a quagmire. I want to talk sports and sports business in a second. However, I've got corporate breathing on my neck. They're worried about setting fires near ears of employees. I didn't do everything that we've done as a company to be fearing fire around the ears, but I've got a lot of people worried about liabilities out there. And now Zaz is doing the worst of the things because when you're worried about liabilities, what you don't want to do is check the internet for your maximum fears.
No, you got to.
It's like checking your sickness at WebMD. You don't want to read any of what's there because this is not as scary as people think it is just because it's fire near the ears.
No, it's the smart thing to do. And it says here, ear candling is an ineffective and dangerous practice where a hollow lit candle is inserted into the ear to remove wax, often causing burns to the face, hair, or
if it falls on you,
ear canal, and can lead to ruptured eardrums or ear canal blockages. It continues with proponents claim the heat creates a chimney effect or vacuum that pulls out wax, toxins, or debris. However, this has been thoroughly debunked as a pseudoscientific myth. You know about that pseudoscientific myth,
By
Dan?
whom? What's your source there?
By pseudoscientists.
But aren't they the ones creating it?
Wait a minute.
It's worse than a hot pepper, Dan. Just keep that in mind. Fire near the ear inside a studio where I can't imagine that the sprinklers are working or that the alarm actually would be listened to given how often it goes off. I would say that the fire is worse than the hot pepper.
Zaslow, I don't believe pseudoscientists are the ones who debunk pseudoscientists. I believe it's scientists who would debunk pseudoscientists.
What are those scientists up to, by the way?
Debatable.
They're getting killed. We need to look into that. We haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that. There's 15 scientists dead across 2 years. We haven't talked about it. Just go ahead, Dave.
You want him to talk about it?
I would like his thoughts on it because I'm sure he's tapped into the news like a real man.
Tony, you will not believe this, but I had dinner last night with my children, and the conversation that came up was all of these scientists who were dying, and I hadn't heard of it. And it came up last night at dinner and now today with you. So I must tell you, I did zero research post-dinner, pre-show. I was watching basketball and preparing for shows. So I know nothing about it other than what I was told at dinner between courses, which is there are mysterious circumstances surrounding the disappearances of certain scientists who may believe that there's stuff going on that could smell of simulation. That's all I got for you.
Dave, when you get up to snuff on what you got going on with the UFOs, you can have me on Nothing Personal. Me and you can discuss notes and we can talk about it.
Tony, I'm going to
I'm
need you
in.
to take a break. I'm not going to throw you in the penalty box. Just cool off outside.
Take a walk.
Just for 90 seconds.
I've been upset about the scientists.
All right,
Dan. You haven't rang the alarms, okay? As the Paul Revere of this show, you haven't ran any alarms. I'm the one that has to do it.
The only time you haven't been talking is when you've been flossing your teeth.
The Paul Revere of this show.
Rung.
True or not true?
I haven't rung any alarms. Just go sit outside for 90 seconds and just cool off for a second.
1 if by land, 2 if by sea. What about through the air, Dan? How about that? How about the UFOs?
Just gather yourself, and I will put on the poll for you. Are we in an apocalyptic place when no one's talking about the mysterious dying of the scientists? Because it is fair commentary from you. We will get more of it later, perhaps more coherently than we've gotten it thus far. Among the questions I want to ask about local business here before we get off the topic, because it's an important job and an important time at a university that I care about in a region I care about. And so the University of Miami Athletic Department head job, A, is that a good job now, given what your business experience has been in Miami? And B, how disastrous would it be on a scale from don't do it over my dead body to totally apocalyptic to have Yormark in that position?
When I read that Michael Yormark was a candidate, I laughed. Because it can't be that the University of Miami has gone into such a sinkhole that it would consider hiring someone whose main claim to fame is fraudulently doing deals in order to make a team look as though it's performing when it's not. And I have firsthand knowledge of this because when we would have the President's Club down in Florida for the professional teams, the deals that Yormark was making up in Sunrise were absolutely... He was giving away tickets, signage, sponsorships in a way that when we would approach companies or the Dolphins or the Heat, they would say, pay for tickets or for signage? Are you kidding me? We go to the Panthers and we get it for free. When we go to law firms or go to individuals, pay? I'm not paying for tickets. I get them free. If you want to give everything away in Miami and not be respected by anyone in your conference or your city, then that's who you hire. And that may be your gig. That may be what the boosters want. They want someone they can, say is a name because the Yormark name has sports business cred, except for everyone in sports business, ironically, and except for anyone in business, ironically. But again, I digress. So I would say that would be a straight loser hire. But listen, if that's what Miami wants to do, then good luck to Miami.
No, it can't be what they want to do. It must not be what they want to do. Is it a good job or not?
I wouldn't say it is a good job anymore. It used to be 10, 15 years ago, the job of the AD in general was a really recherche job. People wanted that. It was a step up. But what it's become in the era of NIL and in the time of boosters having control in a way that they didn't used to have, the fundraising has completely changed. The budgets have completely changed. How you operate has changed. So for me, being an AD in general is now a down-tick babysitter. But being in Miami, I love the University of Miami. I love the campus. I love the people. So it's good in that regard. But AD jobs in general are on the downtrend.
As I mentioned, Jeremy and Adnan Verk will tackle some of what's going on with the Red Sox, but I want to ask you, as our baseball guy, the management of both the Red Sox and the Phillies, Don Mattingly becoming the manager of Philadelphia, and everything that just happened in Boston. What were your most interesting takeaways on both of those situations?
No matter how much analytics becomes part of the game, what really matters in business and in companies, whether it's Meadowlark or the Red Sox, it's who wins the power struggles. Because there's always power struggles, and there's always winners and losers, and the smartest people at lower levels choose the right horse. And if you chose the Alex Cora horse over Craig Breslow, you chose the wrong horse. Because Craig Breslow has the power there, as granted by John Henry, the owner, and Sam Kennedy, the president and CEO. So I would just caution you and everybody who's listening, when you see a power struggle, just choose wisely, because there will be a loser, and that's what happened in Boston.
Did you think that that could or would happen to Cora? I understand that you don't have generally too much regard for managers, but I thought he was one of them who had actual and real power.
Yeah, I was. Well, what we've seen develop, certainly when Craig came in, there was a concern. And remember, we had him as a Marlin, and the concern was that he was going for something in Boston that would go against what they had been doing, which means he was going for more power than had existed. Because remember, Cora, Chaim Bloom, Cora wins. There's always power struggles. I didn't think Craig would win one so quickly, but it didn't help that the Red Sox have not performed. But to me, that's been a personnel issue, not a manager issue.
Do you have a personal power struggle story? Do you have, or one that you've enjoyed because it's a baseball power struggle story that doesn't involve you, but you think of it as the most fascinating of the power struggles? Because I may be an idiot about this, but I did think that Cora was kind of in charge.
Well, Larry Beinfest lost a power struggle to Dan Jennings in the Marlins, and that's how Larry lost his job as president of baseball operations. There are power struggles between GMs and managers. Joe Girardi lost the power struggle that he had. He lost to me and to Larry, actually, in that power struggle in terms of how he got and lost his job. Yeah, there are power struggles at every level. So I don't know what you mean when you thought Cora had it, because you can have it one day and then not have it the next day. There's only one person, and here's a spoiler alert for power struggles that involve an owner. Always go with the owner, because the owner doesn't lose power struggles. And the case of Meadowlark as an example, it'd be wise to go with you, Dan, in a power struggle. So a little word to employees that in a power struggle situation, always choose the person in charge.
Yeah, you say that, except I always feel like I lose power struggles around here. I can't even get Tony to clean his teeth right and then speak correctly.
So that's not a power struggle. That's just a respect issue, and that's, show and you. That's your shtick. Like, oh, I lose every power struggle, and oh, I'm not a business guy, and oh, I don't even know what's going on in my own company. But none of us really buy that.
That's his impression of you.
I mean, it's a terrible impression, and you may not buy it, but you actually know that it's true, and you're putting on a public face here.
You see anybody getting fire around their ears?
Yeah. Do you get it? Do you see anyone getting fired? Is what I would say. If
Saw a couple people.
Yes.
I know. No, I have not seen anyone around here fired.
Are your glasses fogged?
Wait to see.
Vancouver police here have denied FIFA a motorcade. This is my entry point on the World Cup here, because this Gianni Infantino is carrying the tradition well of Sepp Blatter, who once ran FIFA.
Let me tell you, I like you. You brought me again into the FIFA. I stay with you. You have voted for me. Although they have voted for the Prince Ali, I congratulate you. It's a good candidate. But I'm now the president of everybody. So I'm the president of everybody. There is no reticence. That's just president of the whole FIFA. Voila.
So Gianni Infantino wanted a motorcade, and Vancouver said no motorcade. Is FIFA the most corrupt organization in all of sports?
It is, but it has nothing to do with the motorcade. It's such a funny fugazi that people are doing right now. They're saying, look at what a crook he is. He wanted a motorcade. The number of times that we requested motorcades in Miami, you get granted those motorcades if you pay the right amount of money, you pay the expenses of it. There are certain rules in place of priorities of if there are multiple people looking for motorcades at multiple times. So him requesting it is not a big deal. Them turning it down because they claim the rule is that it's about heads of state only, and it didn't rise to the level of what we would consider to be motorcade worthy. Well, if the price is right, you can get a motorcade. But Infantino, to me, the reason for his corruption, just look at what's going on with the World Cup. Look at who's hosting the World Cup over the next couple of World Cups and the previous one, and you know that the only way they do business is by making sure that they personally profit, which by the way, in our country is happening at the highest levels in the White House. So it becomes something that is normalized. So I was not taken aback by this story the way other people were. But that's happened to me with several stories recently, which means it must be user error, where I'm viewing things not as big a deal as other people are.
But I was taken aback when I saw that the U.S. opener isn't selling tickets. And when you talk about the price of things, like I did take notice of that because that was not one that I saw coming, the price of tickets being so high that you would have trouble selling for the opener.
David, when last reported, only 40,000 tickets have been sold to the U.S. World Cup opening match. The reason for this is the ticket prices are insanely high, and FIFA has crunched the numbers, and this alleged non-for-profit organization has decided they would rather have a half-full stadium at the current price point than have a full one at a lower price point because they make more money this way. And that is the driving factor here, and not growing the game or making it accessible to a host nation.
If you could have one person in your ballpark who pays $100 for a ticket, would you rather have that or 100 people paying $1?
Isn't it obvious you'd rather have 100 paying $1 because they'll buy concessions? And
it's the opposite.
Why?
I want one person paying 100 because I can lower my operating expenses of running the facility. It guarantees me way more profit. So that's the math that people use. That's why when you look at attendance, you always have to look at average ticket price. Too many people look at the attendance numbers, forget whether we make them up or not. Always look at total revenue, and then divide it by people turnstile, and that gives you your average ticket price.
Let me follow you down this, but this is one of the reasons why FIFA is corrupt. Like, you were a private enterprise, that was your logic. You were in charge of staffing. When FIFA is putting these World Cups up for bidding, part of the draw is the boost it brings to the local economy. You guys staff the building. I don't have to pay for it. I'm FIFA. I'm putting on the tournament. Like the draw here is the boost to your local economy, hotels, transportation, tourism industry, all that stuff goes up. If you don't give a rat's ass about how many people are in that building, you are falling short of what you sold to the host committee.
I'm sorry, the draw for who, Mike? Are you talking about FIFA choosing North America to host the World Cup?
Yes. The draw for the United States to bid on the World Cup is not like, oh, they'll charge $100 as opposed to $1. Like, they are staffing this. They are hoping that a bunch of people come to these host cities and spend lots of money. That's how they rationalize the cost of putting one of these on in the United States. And for FIFA to not give a rat's ass about delivering more tourism, and I know that there's stuff going on in the United States that's also explaining why that is, but to not help with getting more people in the building, that is affecting people's bottom line that help pay to put on this event.
But, Mike, in the RFP, all of that is addressed. When North America bids to host, they have in there what the ticket prices will be at every level of every ballpark. There's literally a chart of every single stadium and what sections will be at what price, and FIFA agrees to that. And there's also an agreement of when that can change. What is the mechanism to lower the price or sometimes to raise the price if you hit certain goals of sales at certain times? So it's not that FIFA has had a change of heart or North America has. It's all predetermined when the bids happened.
I'd like your analysis, please, and I recommend to all of you nothing personal. If, for example, you are thinking to yourself, well, this LIV story seems complicated. Where can I get something that no one else is doing on the business expertise of what just happened with LIV? Please explain to me what was accomplished what was accomplished bigger than being the initial whitewashing for it's okay to take dirty money this way. You might as well have golf tournaments where you have somebody wandering around the premises with a chainsaw because we're now taking money from or a bone saw, excuse me. We're taking money from the bone sawing of journalists. We whitewashed that money. What did LIV create that was bigger and better and more successful than that?
We led Nothing Personal with this morning. It is a big story. The Saudis have walked away from LIV. The chair has resigned. The chairman of the board, who runs the sovereign fund, has walked away. And you've got a CEO, not Greg Norman, a guy named Scott O'Neill, who is telling you as his home is burning, hey, everything's fine here. Do you want to keep playing, categories? And so what's happening is that a business that has never been a business. LIV, let me be clear, that's not a business. It's not a competing tour for PGA. It was something that was propped up by billions of dollars in order to fake it. They were faking being competitive to PGA by paying the amount of money they paid to get players to defect. But the minute that money dries up and you hear they have a new board chair this morning that was just announced, by the way, Dan. And what he said is, hey, we're good. We're going to find media deals. We're going to find partners. We're going to get financing. No chance. LIV is finished. There will not be LIV. What happens to the players, how they get reintegrated into PGA, we talked about this morning. It's going to be a process, and it's not going to work out for all of them, I'll tell you that. But in terms of what we'll remember about LIV, we won't. It's nothing. It's a tiny zit on a huge antelope as you're going 80 miles an hour
but what was
down the highway.
But what was accomplished? How much was
Nothing.
How much was spent, and what was accomplished?
Billions of dollars have been spent over the 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Zero was accomplished, because if you think that the reason why they're stopping funding LIV is, hey, we've done it. We've finished our sports washing. We finished our money laundering. Everyone looks at Saudi Arabia and sees nothing but butterflies and unicorns. Our work is done here. That's not what happened. What happened is we realized that, in fact, the Saudis, sometimes it is about business, and they've got capital needs elsewhere right now. Take a look at what's going on in Iran. Take a look at what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Take a look at the things that they cannot do. And you realize that cuts have to be made. What do you cut when cuts have to be made? Most companies cut the least profitable things. LIV was like number one of idiotic investments, and they decided it was time to move on, and they did rather quickly.
Chris, how do you absorb that as a golf fan? The entire experience of, we're going to tarnish Phil Mickelson forever as the first one who's not allowed to accept this money. Tiger Woods is going to turn it down famously, even though it could have been just $1 billion clean on some absurd,
Crazy.
On some, and just turned it down. What do you make of the exercise failing so spectacularly that I think we can say I guess maybe the UFL would be something of a precedent here on spending billions of dollars to try to compete with something and then just collapsing?
It's just wild that it was such a failure, yet the guys got so paid. Like, the golfers made so much money off of this. Like, there are so many golfers that are their lives are different because of this, and it was just a useless, meaningless, no one give a shit about it. Like, they wore shorts. That's it. Golfers got paid, and they wore shorts, and it was loud.
Yeah, best I can tell. That's the only thing.
That's what I'm going to remember about LIV Golf.
They got to wear shorts. Yeah.
How does that end up being the result on billions of dollars in a competing sports franchise? I mean, is it funny?
Yes, as a return on investment, the answer is they got to wear shorts.
Yeah, you never got to see their legs before.
And it was
this.
loud.
Chapter 11.
Yeah, so that's not my memory of LIV, but that's a funny thing that's what's in your head.
That's
Chris.
what gets accomplished for billions of dollars. It was loud and they wore shorts. That's a bad
John
failure.
Rahm seems like he hates
All right,
it.
so I'm starting with billions and billions of dollars, and the end result is at the end I get to see golfers wearing shorts, and it was loud at golf tournaments. That's what we
had
did.
that cool Austin Powers plane.
Like the 17th hole at the celebrity tournament, but all the holes.
And with no celebrities. Yeah.
I think LIV will be remembered for something different than shorts, Chris. I think LIV will be remembered as a cautionary tale for when there is such a huge amount of money put into something. And when you've got people in this country and around the world who are worth $250 billion, or the question of Steve Cohen and the Mets, it's sort of the same thing. Do I just keep pouring money into a losing situation and hoping for a result? And the answer is yes, until. And the until can be 2 years, 5 years, 8 years. Sometimes it can be a month. With CNN Plus, it was a night. So there's always a time where you decide, okay, that's enough. And that's, to me, what I'll remember is that LIV, it was enough during the conflict in Iran. That's how I'll remember it.
That is a great phrase. With CNN Plus, it was a night, because that was one magical night where it looked like there would be spending, and then the spending was gone. But I just want to re-ask the question. You're saying that the way LIV will be remembered, the greatest thing LIV will be remembered for, is successfully sports washing blood money by wasting it.
No, I think that actually will pass as well. I think when you look back on LIV 20 years from now, I think you'll correlate it to the time that it stopped being funded and the impact. We have to see now whether these sovereign funds will continue to be big-time investors as limited partners in sports or in universities or with teams, or what they're going to do now. But if this is the beginning of them not just being a blind source of huge money for people, I think they'll go back to LIV and say this was the beginning of the end for that.
Are you someone who has strong opinions one way or the other on ABS?
Yeah, I want to get rid of the challenge system. I do have strong opinions, and I think I'm going to be right on this. I think the challenge system is not going to be around for very long. I think ABS will just exist for every pitch, and there won't need to be challenges. And we'll get the 63 seconds back that we lose every single game because of ABS. And I think that that's what we'll see. I love the calls, and I want them to be right. I don't need for Jazz to get embarrassed as much as he gets embarrassed. I don't need the umpires to be upset or embarrassed. There's no need for it. We've got the technology to get every pitch right. And once the latency becomes a millisecond, it'll be a little dot in the ear of an umpire, and they'll call strike or ball, and it'll be immediate, and there won't be a challenge, and every call will be right, and we'll move on.
I don't think it's a bad 63 seconds. First off, it's only 63 seconds. I do think that there's a little amount of fun tension there. I like the strategy behind it, that you only have a certain number. I think it's going pretty well, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, fans are loving it. Like, we just talked about it yesterday at the Reds game, in a 7-2 game in the 9th inning. People are going ballistic because they get a strike overturned for a strikeout. It's creating these little moments. It's creating strategy amongst teams. And that's something that's been missing from baseball with the implementation of the DH. Now there's an extra little piece of strategy that's adding 1 minute to a game, but it's already trimmed to half an hour.
I agree with you that it is fun, but David's totally right. It's unnecessary, and it will eventually be just
but humanity. Like, there is a humanity in baseball that the human error is such a part of it in every aspect of the game, and now we've eliminated it being a big issue in big moments. This feels like the perfect compromise to me.
Yeah, count on baseball, Jeremy.
They showed Dan sleeping.
That's our leader right there. You want to know why baseball's not focused on the show, Jeremy?
I was listening to him. I had my ear to the microphone.
You know, Liam Hicks has the most RBIs.
Ear to the microphone?
Most RBIs by a catcher before the month of May in the history of baseball. Liam Hicks.
That's what's wrong with baseball.
Now on Marlins.tv.
Jeremy, I'm sorry. That is not supportive at all, and that's just wrong.
Look at me. There I am. Me and Liam Hicks.
Hey, he's got shorts on.
He's my size.
He
doesn't look it.
Are those Viore shorts?
David, did you want to engage with the sparring, or did you not want to engage? Because it sounds like you are coming after something that is universally regarded as positive, a change for baseball, that people no longer are complaining about baseball games being too long, and furthermore, don't mind this particular minute added, even though, yes, of course, they could be more efficient, and they're going to get this more right as it goes. They're going to perfect the technology so it'll be even faster, but you seem to have an unpopular opinion here. I don't hear people saying that.
Yeah, but when I join your show, you always say take your lead and take the lead of the container. And if you're asleep, why would I engage in sparring on a subject that you're sleeping
I wasn't asleep. I was thinking you guys were about to argue. I was not asleep. I was listening to the two of you, and you guys bailed on the argument. It sounds like there's genuine disagreement here.
Your forehead was on the microphone.
It sounds like there's genuine disagreement here, and now you're just disagreeing with me as opposed to disagreeing with something that you're espousing that's an unpopular opinion.
Well, it's unpopular to be efficient, and Jeremy talking about human error. Well, who wants human error? Nobody wants that. We don't sit in committee meetings in baseball and say, you know what we want more of? We want more human error. No, we want to eliminate it. Do you miss the lines, people, at tennis tournaments? Do you miss the guy on the net seeing if it's a let? Give me a break. There's no ABS. The technology is there. We don't need the going ballistic in the ninth.
I was actually whispering in Dan's ear there, Vlad Guerrero. And he was thinking on which team he associates Vlad Guerrero with.
Ooh, who is it?
Expos.
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to play this game with David? Because I think he's going to be appalled by what some of your answers were. Roy saying he thinks of Clemens as a Blue Jay is offensive. Like
Red Sox.
I mean, but it's offensive. Like not people in Toronto are not associating Roger Clemens with the Blue Jays.
Yes, they do. He was really good because
I'm
he
not
was doing
saying
the
he
thing
wasn't good. I'm saying he's a Red Sox.
He was good everywhere.
He was good everywhere.
Fine.
He's a
Astro.
Astro.
He was great there too.
All right, I want to play. David, say a player.
I think he won a Cy Young as a Blue Jay, correct? Did he not win a Cy Young as a Blue
good
Jay?
everywhere.
Yes.
That's a big
Because
move.
his wife got sent steroids, not him.
No,
That's Peyton Manning.
That's Peyton Manning, I think.
Bronco.
Look
Colt.
it up.
What, did Clemens use the Peyton Manning before Peyton Manning used the Peyton
Just
Manning?
go if you want to
There's
look
precedent,
it up, you can look
Dan.
it up, but you don't need to.
He won a Cy Young for every team he pitched for.
Good everywhere.
What are you reviewing for us this week, David?
This is something that, please help me in this. Did you see the documentary about the false prophet?
I did.
Okay. Can you explain to me why fat, ugly greaseballs get all of these women to have sex with them and convince other good-looking guys to let this greaseball have sex with their wives, and they can't anymore?
You want me to explain to you why it is that the cult
Yes.
that cults are always sex cults, and that the sex cult documentary is something that's a very successful genre right now.
No, I want to explain why are the head of cults always so ugly and greasy and fat and ridiculous? Why can't there be like a stunning Adonis-like cult leader and you're like, of course my wife wants to have sex with him. Look at him. He's amazing. This guy is forget the fact that he's physically disgusting. He's a pedophile. There are men giving their daughters to him to have sex with. The good news, and I don't care about spoiling it, when you give your daughter who's underage to have sex with a slime ball, you're going to prison for decades. I would do it differently. I'd cut off the schlong, and then I'd do capital punishment. But that's me. But this documentary goes through the entire process of how this prophet got taken down, and it was an unreal job by an undercover, previously victimized cult person who got herself in there and then worked with the police and the FBI to take him down. And I'm so happy the guy's rotting in prison. He cannot be violated enough for me, and frankly, he should be killed for what he did. But it is an interesting documentary, and I encourage anyone listening to this, if you feel like all of a sudden you want someone else to have sex with your child, please seek help.
Koresh kind of had it cooking.
Yeah, he's kind of thing.
It's like a psychopath,
guys.
Jared Leto, too. I mean, Jared Leto's cult. It's objectively a good-looking guy.
You wanted me to explain to you false gods and how it is that all of these cult leaders and all of these genres end up tricking an assortment of people into thinking that they could get closer to God by having sex with them.
Yes, I would.
I mean, I think
I'm
this
serious.
genre is popular because everyone is confused by how any of this happens. Like, there are so many movies like this about the cult guy who promised spirituality and it had to be had through having sex with him.
Okay, it's not that much. There could be a lot of movies about it because it's like watching a train wreck. You can't turn away. My only point of it is that it makes me so sad. You watch this 4-part series and you're devastated for these women and for these children, and you think about whether it's Scientology or any of the other cults out there, you're thinking about the power that people have over others who are just insecure and looking for reason. I'm looking for reason now too, but not for a cult.
Well, but the part to me about that particular documentary that stuck out wasn't whether he was good looking or not, was the general absence of anything in the way of charisma. Like, I didn't understand why anybody was following him for any reason because he had no charisma.
Is that a cult thing that you have to have charisma?
Well, TV, it's
That's
cult
not him.
leader, not cult leader. Take Chuck Pagano down.
Sunset Gears with comedian Rob Delaney.
I really am thrilled to be doing this, Rob, because I admire your work a great deal, and it's rare that I find somebody from afar that I've been wanting to talk to because their story seems somehow something even more admirable to me. Now, you might not view it this way. I don't know how much nobility you think there is in your story, but in watching the art that you've made and watching the life that you've chosen, it's sort of been a pleasure to watch your work grow and to see, you know, the things that you are choosing late in life to do artistically.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that I am late in my life. There's a refreshing honesty to that. I am 45, so I'm well more than halfway.
45 is
there.
late in life?
I mean, I do think about it though sometimes though. Like, I'm definitely more than halfway done, and that's funny. Isn't that funny?
How does it feel to be told that you're late in life by someone who is considerably older than you?
Who's a great deal older than me? It's strange. I wonder, does he know things about, does he have access to my medical file? Has he seen things that I haven't seen?
I just feel like I feel through your art like you've lived more than I have. It's really what I'm doing there in the having of 4 kids, in the choosing work-life balance, in learning life's lesson. I just think that I was atrophied as a young person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the things that that I've experienced that maybe most people haven't are, you know, I did get sober 20 years ago after going to jail after a car accident that I was responsible for, and I've stayed sober, so that's been pretty cool. I've had the unbelievable good fortune to make a living in comedy, and of course I didn't for a long time before I did, so that was challenging. And then, but the biggest thing would be that my wife and I, one of our sons got cancer and passed away a few years ago. So those are the big things that I've been through that I think, you know, are place me in sort of a strange minority. I think I covered it all.
Well, life-altering things, right? Because arriving at comedy success must have been the realization of your dreams, right? You came from, your comedy story there aren't a lot of people who had comedy success the way you did, just sort of discovered by social media. I can say that, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. It came at an interesting time because I was trying very hard to get hired by, say, Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, you know, writing jokes by the stack, by the physical paper stack, you know, because I'm submitting 2-liner jokes, you know, by the pound to try to get hired as a late night writer. So then Twitter comes along and I've got piles of jokes that no one will pay me for, no one wants. And I mean, I send them to people and they're like, no thanks, you know, or these are great, but still no thanks. And so I had a place to focus this stuff. So it was sort of a right place, right time kind of a thing. So myself and, you know, many other people around the same time figured, oh, you know, Twitter's not just for posting, you know, recipes and, you know, things like that. It can also be for jokes. And so I really lucked out that came along at the right time for me.
Vision or happenstance?
Happenstance, purely.
So you don't have success in comedy? If not for that, you're just another rejected writer writing stacks of jokes that doesn't get an avenue towards success?
Oh, you never know. I mean, I have a work ethic that I can at least say about myself. So, and I'm nice. You know, I think that might be part of being sober and having success come a little later in life, but I still am as nice as possible. So people will rehire me after they work with me. So maybe I would have had success through both my two-pronged approach of working hard and being nice. Because that goes pretty far, you learn, after some time passes, some decades pass, and people start to evaporate. Or you get the job of somebody who, talent-wise, absolutely deserves it more, but maybe they're a jerk, or they just forget to set their alarm, and then you get their job, and then, screw them.
Your kindness is displayed in this segment where a 53-year-old man dressed like he's going to the band's Warped Tour called you old.
Precisely.
He just said success later in life, and I let him slide on it. He just got done saying success later in life, and I'm like, so you acknowledge you are later than in life.
It's sunset for me.
I meant it.
I think you finessed that answer out of him.
I meant it as awkward admiration for this man has lived and learned and put down. I just see in your work that you've put down your ego, and it's beautiful to see art flourish there.
I don't know what that means, what you just said, that I put down my ego. I genuinely, can you elaborate?
I think that you are only choosing projects right now, that you have a unique freedom in comedy where you can choose projects now because Catastrophe was such a unique success. That your life story is intertwined in it. You're learning about yourself as you're telling the story. It is unfathomable, the range you show in it as someone who is producing the whole thing with a partner, but it's you guys making a hit television show cheaply that is smart and funny and layered, and you made it, and from there you can make all the choices in life. And you've lived and learned enough to know that you have to choose wisely there because you want to be with your kids and you want to have life balance, and professional ego has gotten you in trouble.
There are a number of things that I want to get to, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to get to them all before I head out to California to do some South Beach sessions for the next week, because the Elon Musk, Sam Altman trial is coming up here, and it's kind of amazing, and it's amazing for a number of different reasons. None more interesting than Stugotz getting it right on Musk before anyone else got it right on Musk. Like, I just saw an article in The Ringer where basically all they're writing about Elon Musk is things that Stugotz said, but before anybody was saying them about this guy never finishes anything. And he appears to be the likable, trustable character who's trying to save the universe in the Sam Altman.
Whose side are you on, Dan?
Yeah, no,
Musk or Sam Altman? You got to choose.
No, I don't. I cannot. I will not.
You have to.
Awful, just awful, the situation that we're in. I don't have to choose a side.
Pick a side.
But what I do have to do is I have to get to Roy's video of the day. Roy, what is this about today? Because I don't feel like we are adhering with great consistency and stamina to Roy's video of the day. You have a daily video. What's this one about?
Well, Dan, we have a video that you very much might like, or you might not like. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
All right, so Roy's video of the day is something that I want to do every day, and just put it on the screen somewhere. And
we're leaning on robots a lot. I like this.
Yeah,
it's the future.
Well, I'm scared for our future in a number of different ways. But my judgment hasn't been
you doing yoga?
As good as it could be recently, and I feel like I may have erred earlier in the show doing so much on LIV, which is interesting to me, and not enough on what happened in basketball last night, because I don't know about you guys, because maybe you do need all the games to be close to be interesting, but I enjoy watching Scotty Barnes guard Donovan Mitchell, and just that because I'm fairly amazed by what I'm watching in terms of athleticism, but Shaq isn't, because Shaq's analysis before the game, and I'd be curious how you guys feel about this, on a night where two guys went for 45, Shaq's analysis before the game of Raptors Cleveland, largely a defensive series because you got a bunch of 6'7" dudes out there who can do a lot of different things. Shaq says Donovan Mitchell needs to go for 45 tonight. And I'm like, is that a thing that we're now just doing to expect? We're just expecting that Cade Cunningham is going to have the best game a Piston has ever had, and Isaiah Thomas played for the Pistons. Like, are we now, is that what we're doing with some of the analysis, where you're going into a game and you're requesting 45 from somebody?
Unfortunately, and this has picked up steam really over the last, couple years, that show doesn't do analysis. Like, that's not analysis. They're not analysts. They're not. And that's why you get Shaq saying things like, he's got to step up, need more out of him, he's got to score 45. Like, it's not analysis. It's really simple stuff. I love that show, but if you're going there for that, you're in the wrong place.
It's an unk barbershop show.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. It's like we're sitting at the barbershop with a bunch of unks, and they'll be like, he's got to step up tonight. 45 is the number. And it's like, well, he had 19 on 17 shots.
The reason, though, that I bring it up, okay, is because I love that show, and that show is the standard bearer. But you have a fight happening beneath that show, okay, because everything's beneath that show, where Steven Jackson is yelling angrily about Mad Dog's analysis because Mad Dog is looking at Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and doing some version of calling them either overrated or trash. And so Steven Jackson, as a former player, is looking at what the icons in media are doing on the general talking points. And he's saying, really? You're going to call Donovan Mitchell and James Harden trash? You're going to call them overrated when those – and Steven Jackson's point is, Mad Dog, what have you ever done in your life that would be as substantive as what those athletes are doing? And so when you say that's not analysis, but what is getting rewarded in sports commentary, I would say, is not analysis. You don't rise to stardom now, do you? Like, you can be analysts that are trusted for their information, but to get to the top of whatever the game has become now, where Steven Jackson and Mad Dog and Stephen A are playing it and where Shaq and Barkley are playing it, the job is now you have to be entertaining. Yeah. You don't have to be smart about anything.
Right, but also Steven Jackson's argument there, which is not an original one, which is why it's so tired when you hear the "you never played." So, like, if we're doing that game, like Steven Jackson, I get, like, he can never talk about anything other than basketball, right? Because he didn't do any of these things. You stick to basketball then, right? That's the thing you do.
But the part I do think is fair, though, is looking at Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, who would be, I don't know, top 20 in the world that's competing over something. Like, to call those people trash and overrated, like, that is not sophisticated commentary. That is, and it's not fair. It's not in any way reasonable. Like, if the standard is you can only be number one and then the 10th best at something is trash.
Well, trash is obviously strong and probably disrespectful.
I don't even know if trash was used. I know Steven Jackson was saying that trash was used. I don't know if it was.
But overrated, like, you can call a player overrated. Like, you're allowed to think that, all right, most people think this guy's really great. I think he's overrated. That's okay. You could say that.
And also, it's wrestling, right? Like, that's what Dog does. He gets up there, he does his whole spiel on Bob Cousy and whatever, and it's like, that's what it is. So when you walk into the tent, not understanding who Dog is, and you see him say this guy's overrated, why didn't he dribble like Bob Cousy in 1957? Like, yeah, you don't get it. It's like listening to the show. If you don't listen to the show, you don't understand what we're doing.
And, I mean, someone like Dog who essentially invented the medium of sports radio, okay, and has been doing sports radio for 40 years now. You know what? I think his credentials are pretty high. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, but you're doing, and I get why you're doing it, you're protecting our space. Mm-hmm. And Steven Jackson is saying it's time to replace the people who are in the places for this space on the way that we've all been doing this.
They did. An athlete can fire up a podcast anytime that they want. There's obviously enough space for everybody. I think it's foolish for anybody on either side, either athletes or pundits, to be like, they shouldn't be doing it. If you're good enough, the audience will find you. And by the way, Steven Jackson is part of the properties that have proven on merit they're good enough. But a lot of these people, you make a big PR release and a tweet goes out announcing a new podcast. They never go out when they announce that they're stopping. So many of these things just go away. Duncan Robinson had what seemed to be a popular one, just went away. They go away because they realize, like, for you to be good at this, the way that Steven Jackson got good at this is you have to treat it like a job. You can't just fire it up whenever you want. You have to look at cadence. You have to look at audio metrics. You have to look at things that you have to put work in.
They have subbed athletes for media members and analyst spaces, and Carmelo Anthony gave praise to Nico Harrison for Cooper Flagg getting the Rookie of the Year.
Right.
That's what we have.
Carmelo is a Hall of Famer. That opinion that it was part of Nico Harrison's plan to, with 1%, land the number 1 overall pick.
He should have had it.
I mean, by Steven Jackson's standard, then Carmelo probably shouldn't be talking about these kind of things. Because that's a ridiculous thing to say.
All right, let's go ahead and hear him say it then.
We had something special in Cooper Flagg, and we're starting to see that.
Shout out to Nico Harrison, man. It's for seeing this right here, for understanding this vision. Whatever happened, how it happened, Dallas got something back, in that. They got the number 1 pick. They got a rookie who led the squad in points, rebounds, assists.
I mean, we need more of that.
They didn't get anything back.
I mean, I don't know.
That was his vision?
We get a lot of stuff wrong, though,
Hey, guys, trade away Doncic, but I got a vision. We're going to land the number 1 overall pick.
What Jeremy is saying is right, though. I mean, we can go back through the library of 20 years, and I'll find the thing that says that draft Carmelo. I probably said it. Draft Carmelo instead of LeBron.
Oh, you for sure said it.
All right.
You wanted Chris Kaman.
Let's look at that draft. Did anybody say take Darko over Melo?
Oh, my God. Good draft.
Let me analyze.
It's just tired, the whole you never played.
Well, it can be tired like that, and I understand why we would be defensive about it. I just find interesting that people are staking their claims to the corners and putting their fists up, and Steven Jackson is purposely going after Stephen A. and Matt Barnes. They are having legitimate beef here that is interesting to watch, but also I started with Shaq, and the analysis that I just gave you for that show, that's terrible. Like, to expect Mitchell, if you've been watching that series and just what Toronto can be defensively, to expect Donovan Mitchell to go out and just demand 45 of him, I just didn't think we were there. Even on a night where I'm watching in Orlando and Detroit, 2 players put up 45.
The nature of these rights agreements are that, unfortunately, well, sometimes on certain nights you have competing platforms having a playoff game in the same window, but they alternate. And I like having the variety. I know that when I go to Inside the NBA, now on ESPN, I'm going to get something more personality-driven, more humorous, and they're photoshops, and I like it for what it is. And then 2 nights later, I get the opportunity to watch, Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki on an iPad running through motions, and this player triggers this action. I enjoy that. I like having the variety.
I will say, as I do with many things around pop culture change, what ends up happening with whatever your discomforts around the change, the top 10% of it will be better than it's ever been. The bottom 10% will be worse than it's ever been. And 80% will be just mediocre stuff. That show, though, has been the standard bearer for 3 decades, no matter what the changes are. And what the changes are, the reason I bring up the all of it is because you have heard me say over the years that I believe that LeBron James is underappreciated because of the specifics of the time he's coming up in and the argument television of the time, where he's giving an ESPN magazine interview and he's saying, why does it always have to be everyone shitting on me? Because we can't just appreciate that LeBron and Michael Jordan had different games, that when we're talking about them in the modern age, we underappreciate LeBron James because the comparison point is whatever the difference is, you're not the best ever. You're second best. And now we're going to shit on you the entire time. And what we're watching has LeBron last night losing his first home elimination closeout playoff game in 18 years.
That's crazy.
But the whole thing on his resume is totally crazy. Like everything on it, including that he's now expected to win that series and has a historic choke on his doorstep. And Jabari Smith Jr. is saying, without Kevin Durant, he's saying we're the better team. And here's how LeBron's reacting to him saying that.
What's the best way to respond to a group that obviously has some confidence growing over there?
I don't care about shit like that, bro. The game is won between the 4 lines. I don't give a damn. Who cares? Of course you say it. Why would you say, no, we're not the better team? But I don't. Ask one of them young guys that question. I'm too old for that shit.
We're at the I'm too old for that shit stage of LeBron's career. That's the nose hair. That's the ear hair. That's the I'm too old for this shit stage. That's old as shit.
Too old for that shit.
What are the most famous I'm too old for that shits in movie history? Because I only think, and it's only Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon.
It's a good one.
But it's the only one I think of.
Riggs!
Too old for this shit.
Did he do that?
Too old for this shit.
Oh, he did it, he did it multiple times?
He did it in all 4 movies, Dan.
Yeah. He didn't stop being too old for the shit 3 movies in. He only got older for the shit. I believe the first time he was too old for the shit, he was 36.
How old is he now? He's got to be 80 now,
Has to be
right?
80.
He's got to be 80.
Are they still working on another one? I think Mel Gibson might be directing this one.
I mean, he was,
Love that guy.
He was old in The Color Purple.
79. He turns 80 July 22nd.
He was like 60 in The Color Purple.
So he's had his pension from the force for 40 years at least.
Good pension back then.
So he's done it in every Lethal Weapon movie the same way that Roger Clemens has won a Cy Young in every city that he's played in.
I'll bet he's 100.
Oh, they just told you he's 79.
Wow.
I just said he was 79, turning 80 July 22nd. You're not listening.
I
Need
like-
that earwax still.
I like the I'm too old for this in Elf.
I'm getting too old for this job.
That's my
Rest in
favorite.
peace.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Anytime it's invoked now, it's basically a tribute to Danny Glover. Murtaugh.
Look up as many as you would like, Chris, and just play them randomly because I can't remember off the top of my head any other than Glover's I'm Too Old for This Shits, the many replicas of it that he did in all the Lethal
We have
Weapons.
Paul Rudd and Anchorman.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
So LeBron James is in this portion of his career. I'm told we also have the wax candles out there. I am now being informed. How do you want to do this? Chris is rubbing his hands together.
Someone's got to do it. I vote Zaz.
What?
You can't hear anything. I just said he was 79. You said he was 100.
I'd do
You're
it.
not listening.
You're already not listening. You do. All right, Zaz has been nominated. Is there? So
And
is
not Jeremy. 'cause he
Why, but
wants to.
Jeremy, he just.
Well
we
said.
should make Jeremy watch Zaz do it like a cuck.
No. He's the cook.
No, Jeremy just volunteered as tribute. You could do it.
This isn't the Hunger Games.
It happened in Star Wars.
I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
All right, fine. I'll do it.
I think that you should do it because you do listen poorly. You have you've had some issues lately where you're just not listening to the show.
Getting old, man. I'm getting too old for this shit.
And okay, so let's get that in here. But this is a process, right? So this
Oh, he's
isn't
gonna do
something.
it right there.
Can I lie down on the couch? I gotta lay down.
You gotta be like parallel.
Okay, yeah,
We'll
go
mic him
ahead.
up.
All right, no, that's fine. Go ahead and put him on the couch there. That's a good idea. But also give him a microphone because I want to be able to get takes from him while he's over there. But we should have others do it as well, though, because we should have. I think we're going to be mortified by the things that are found in some ears. It has to be. It has to be more than one person here willing to shame themselves. So who else is willing
Roy.
to do this?
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I already said I was. Well, all right.
Not Jeremy.
No,
That's-
you
that's
sit.
my
You
only
sit in
vote.
the chair and watch him.
You say.
All right, so Roy, so we're going out there to do all of it, though. Okay, good. I should do it as well. I'll do it from here.
The internet lives forever, Dan.
Something that this promises to be dangerous and disgusting. And
Your neck's gonna have to be like really turned though. You're gonna have to be like almost sideways.
yeah, I think I'll do it like that. We'll
That's
see.
how he listens to me speak.
If you guys want to give me some topics to talk about that can go viral while doing that, I'd like no context for a burning candle in my ear while I give some controversial take. If you guys can just get together on whatever it is that you think might be something that we can play with here. Something I did want to talk about, though, I don't know whether this is getting a lot of coverage, but this one, when you talk about how someone takes over a league, not just with their play, but also their personality. Wemby cried on the bench after defeating the Blazers, okay? And he was asked about that and fans who have criticized or mocked his tears by a French outlet. Now, I see Tony back there is shaking his head because he's been the first to the trough on Wemby. I'm tired of it. Get out of here, Wemby. You're too sweet.
Oh, you won. You're crying on the bench. Okay.
You're too
Once
sweet.
again, you're not better than me.
Well, he's French, so he is.
That's what I mean. It's
He
just-
thinks.
that's the vibe always.
No, but he's just French. That's just
He's
him.
better than me because he's 7'5" and can play like that. That's why he's better than me.
Also, yes, and he's got cleaner ears. And my guess is if I asked for his opinions, he would give them in a way that was more coherent than yours on occasion.
Possibly. And he just is better than me.
Well, he is. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Wemby indeed better than you? Because I think most people would say yes. But
I want to be mad at him, but it's like, he is.
No, you can still be mad.
We can't be there yet. He's got to beat OKC.
That's right.
And then all this stuff can get old. And it will, but it's still charming.
Well, but how about this, though? How about this question? So he's asked by a French outlet about fans who have criticized or mocked him for his tears. And his response is, quote, "That's a tough question. I think it's first and foremost a fear of judgment, like this feeling that you have to act a certain way, social codes, I guess. Personally, I refuse to carry the burden of having to hide my emotions."
My eyes were rolling that entire thing.
Yeah, okay.
This is amazing.
Okay.
You like your ally, Wemby?
Wow, you guys suck.
I'm with
do
Jeremy
kinda,
on this.
You do kind of suck. Like, forget like the introspection and even Wemby for a second. The number one issue facing that league is that they don't care enough. Yeah. They don't care enough to play. They don't care enough to win. They have to make some rules for tanking. They don't play enough to win awards. You have to introduce rules for that. And now you have a guy that is showing emotion for beating a Blazer team that is okay. It's a first round. The expectations for San Antonio reach far beyond getting out of the first round. And he cares so much that he's crying for his first playoff series win. And we're going to criticize it when we spend all season long complaining about the guys in that sport who don't care?
I'm not going to criticize it. And more to the point, I would say that there is great bravery in his general vulnerability, and it gives him a lane no basketball guy ever wants to take. Like, he is out there with, I'll block your shot 8 times a game. I'll be physically better than everyone out here, and I'm also good with my emotions. Oh, look, I see Zaslow out there with a candle burning in his ear. Zaslow, do you have any thoughts? I don't think you can hear us or exactly what we're saying, but do you have any thoughts on...
That was him saying yes, he can't hear you?
On Wembanyama?
What do you mean it's saying yes, he can't? How would I respond if I couldn't hear, Chris?
He was like, Zaz, you can't hear me? And you go, yes.
I got you, playa.
Did you hear what we had to say about Wembanyama?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Wembanyama was crying on the bench after beating the Trailblazers. Tony is done with Wembanyama and all this syrup, and when he was asked about French fans making fun of him, he says, "That's a tough question. I think it's first and foremost a fear of judgment, like this feeling that you have to act a certain way, social codes, I guess. Personally, I refuse to carry the burden of having to hide my emotions." Your thoughts, Zaz? You still can't hear me.
We can hear the room talking, though.
Okay, that's good. I think we should plan this just a slightly better so that we can communicate with him and so that I can talk to him.
The fire's looking good, though.
It's definitely someone else's fault.
That couch could catch on fire.
Well, it's got to be somebody's fault that I want to do the show with him. Just shout to him. Give a Wemby take. Just shout it to him.
I got
if
you
that's
now.
the way we want to communicate
no, here's
with him.
what
I don't want to repeat the story a third time.
No, I got you now. Go ahead, Dan.
Please repeat that story for him. Just one more time.
Wemby take, go.
Third time's the charm.
LeBron James winning that game last night. I'm not talking to him anymore. Bring the show back in here. We'll go back to him when he's ready to
still need
answer
8
questions.
more minutes.
How does it feel in your ear, by the way? Can we just get a quick update?
Honestly, like I don't feel anything. I had to ask, is it lit? I know it is lit because I saw on the monitor over there. I'm looking at Roy over here. I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable, actually. I'm hoping to get a lot of stuff out of my ear. Maybe I'll hear better.
But you don't. Can you hear it crackling? Because
no.
There is a bit of a crackle that will start when it starts vacuuming. Like when it starts working, and I don't know, what is the recommended time to do the ear candle?
10 to 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So we're going to be here for a while. All right, we'll get our payoff at the end of the segment.
Roy grunting.
Yeah, I heard. Yes, I heard Roy, who's not mic'd up. I heard Roy.
It looks like a spliff.
It does.
Yes, it does.
You know about that spliff?
I do, yes.
I'm really worried about that cushion behind Zaz.
All right, so do me a favor. Have someone come in here, and I'm going to try it, too, just to make a full-on mess of everything that we're doing here. I'm going to also try it, even though it's a little bit dangerous to be doing it the way that we're doing it here. But LeBron James's team is now in trouble. I don't know what it is that they're going to do about Austin Reeves. What is the latest information? Because I have been reading that he is due back later in this series. And LeBron James finds himself in the position when I say he's underappreciated. Do you realize what a disgrace it will be if LeBron James pulls off this season at this age, but it gets punctuated by the fact that he recreated giant expectations by getting up 3-0, and then he becomes the team that coughs up the 3-0 lead because they are limited. And I would think over the course of a series with Houston being able to physical somebody, the greatest advantage LeBron James has had over the last 20 seasons is his body holds up throughout the playoffs the way nobody's does, no matter how many miles you put on it. And it's an unreasonable request at this age to ask him to win one more game by himself in a playoff series that extends when Houston can actually wear you down.
And it's funny, we thought, oh, all right, I guess the Lakers do have enough to beat Houston, especially without KD. And then as the physicality has ratcheted up game after game, it's like, oh, wait a second. Maybe the guys that we were counting on for the Lakers to actually do that are not doing that. Obviously, Luka's still waiting in the wings. So we'll see if it gets to a game 7, if he makes an appearance. But Austin Reeves played 34 minutes last night. LeBron had 27, 7, and 7. Like the ingredients were there for the Lakers to win and eliminate the Rockets, and it just didn't happen. So to the thought that you had, Dan, which is if LeBron can do this, he can beat the Rockets, this would be the greatest thing of his career, or whatever it is he said, better than Michael Jordan, or whatever it was that the take you had. Do you think now that it's worse?
The take was if he wins this playoff series as the oldest player in the league without his 2 other starters. You mentioned Reeves, and forgive me because I did say Reeves, and I was asking about how it is that the rest of the team is going to look with Doncic and when it is that he comes back, because I don't know what you can expect from Reeves in this state, and I don't know if it's fair to keep expecting LeBron James to go 27, 7, and 7, but it is the expectation.
It's really important that we clarify he did not go for
he went
27,
25,
7,
3,
and
7.
7.
But
yeah, because his career averages are that, and he's never actually gotten a 27, 7, and 7 game. But he has played 296 postseason games, and he's never sat one out.
More of a euphemism for the 27, 7, and 7. But Austin Reeves went 4 for 16, 12 of 13 from the free throw line. So it's like the help is a little bit there. I just don't know if they want to have Luka completely rested, hoping that they can get one more game and then get Luka ready for OKC on the other side.
So you mentioned, I want to be clear that we cannot move the goalposts here because Dan started doing that a little bit by saying, wow, like once this series started turning physical, it's a lot to ask for this guy to win this series. No, we're not. We're asking him to win one game. Yeah. Asking him to win one game and not blow a 3-0 lead. Yeah. And unfortunately for him, he did have that 3-0 lead. Yes, he came back in an NBA Finals 3-1. That's always one of the first things that you mention when you mention LeBron James. I guess some math is evening out. He's played so many playoff games that maybe this was bound to eventually happen to him, that he'd be a guy that would blow a 3-0 lead.
Oh, but the thing that I am saying, though, about the totality of it is you could actually have such a weird season for LeBron James as the oldest player in the league with a still relevant team who is losing his first home closeout game in 18 years. That season can end in laughter that's historical at LeBron's expense when it has been, by any definition, an insane, unprecedented, magical season from a player of his age. Like, for that to end in laughter because it collapses at the end because Doncic couldn't get back in time to save him, it puts stakes on these games that I didn't think we'd have in the first round.
But insane, unprecedented 3-0 series lead. I mean, yeah, you're missing Doncic. They're missing Kevin Durant. He went up 3-0. If he blows it, that's a huge stain.
No team ever has come back from a 3-0 deficit to win a best-of-7 playoff series. 0 for 285 record.
As insane and unprecedented as his season has been at his age, that's what blowing a 3-0 series lead is in the playoffs in that sport.
I'm simply stepping back in awe and marveling at the idea that LeBron James can captivate me with stakes in the first round, because that's where we are on, people are going to lose their mind here if this is how this goes, while he's giving the 8th City interview to Dave McMenamin when he's saying that people don't have to compare me to Jordan all the time and only shit on me.
It doesn't go at all to Luka. At all. It laughs up on one shore, and that's LeBron James.
Because he's playing, though. Like, if Luka was playing and LeBron was hurt, we wouldn't really be talking about LeBron.
Luka will, the way that sports media talks about LeBron, no one will talk about Luka being out. Like, this will all be about LeBron.
And it's so crazy in particular because, a month and a half ago when the Lakers were starting to play better basketball, we were praising LeBron for fitting in as the third guy, playing off ball, cutting, dishing, doing all of the little things. They were great. Now he's expected to take down a team single-handedly without their other two best players.
But this is what I'm talking about moving the goalposts. They were also great with Luka out.
Oh.
They were also great with LeBron taking a commanding 3-0 series lead.
Absolutely. And it's not moving the goalposts. It's saying how amazing it is that we got to this space, and it would be equally insane if we saw a LeBron James-led team blow a 3-0 series lead.
And the funny thing about LA, and I'd be interested to see like Sedano or somebody who's tapped into the LA market go from the pendulum swing of, Lakers are up 3-0. Could they beat OKC? Yeah. To now all of a sudden, oh my God, here come the Rockets. Yeah. What if we lose this?
I don't know what Durant's status is. He's out for game 6, and so we can have a game 7 in LA, right? So that and he misses the shot late last night. Let's go out to Zaslow here, though. That flame is getting close to his ear. Zaz, do you have any thoughts on anything you may or may not have heard there?
Yeah, Dan, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm as good as I was last time that we did this and you couldn't hear us.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't agree with the part about it was bound to eventually happen to LeBron. He's played in so many games. He was eventually going to be faced with this kind of scenario as well. This is unprecedented if you go down 0-3. It's never happened before. But here's the thing that I would push back on, okay? Because you see the headlines, the Lakers in trouble. They're up 3-2. They're not in trouble. Like, if the series was tied 2-2 and they went up 3-2, nobody would say the Lakers are in trouble. Now, do I think that they're going to lose in Houston in Game 6? Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a Game 7 in L.A. But, they're not in trouble. They're up 3-2.
Roy, do you have any thoughts on the hockey playoffs last night?
Shout it.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby's gone, Dan. Very happy about that right now. Poor Dave Damashek. I feel bad for him, though.
I feel bad for Damashek. He must be so sad last night. Dan, did you see when the guy scored the game-winning goal for Philadelphia? Did you see what his celebration was?
I did not.
He took his stick and he flung it into the crowd. It went up 15 rows. I saw it happen live. I'm like, what if he spears someone? That's kind of dangerous.
It's crazy that Zaz is finally giving these NHL playoffs a shot.
I'm giving it a try, Dan.
Roy with the off-mic commentary, shouting commentary into the air while that fire climbs higher. Roy, do you hear any crackling in your ear? Can you hear things being cleaned out?
Yes, it's very unsettling. I'm very nervous about this, but thank you, Dan, for allowing me to clean my ear right now.
All right, but
Dan, he screamed lawsuit, and he wasn't talking about the hockey stick going into the stands.
That's correct. It's that stick going into his ear. We have gotten done with Zaslow here, so we will check the content of his ear.
What is the end game with this? Are we going to look into the...
Yeah, you're going to look into it, and you're going to tell us what it is that you see, and we're going to figure it out from there. The Flames, Roy... Tony, are you smiling because of how close and how raging that flame looks near Roy's ear? Because that no longer seems safe when he's shouting lawsuit.
Yeah, Dan, as a cigar aficionado and enjoyer as you are, you know how when the ash starts, collecting on the end of the cigar, you have to kind of hit it off.
That's too much.
That's where they're at right now. So there's from the wax paper, there's a black part that's just ash that Carl has to go and cut with scissors. But Roy's is letting his hang long. So I'm kind of worried that they may topple over. Hey, yo.
Mike, the face that you're making is, I have seen a depleting trust in Tony's commentary today off the side of your face. Do I have that wrong? You seem to be, you're listening to Tony talk the way that I was listening to that Pat Riley press conference earlier this week.
A little bit. He's battling. It's what you do when you face adversity. Adversity sometimes is a blessing. But that thing hanging long, that was tough.
What do you guys think is going to happen with the contents of the ears? Are you making assumptions about Roy and Zaz and what they might have in their ears? Do you have expectations about what's about to be unveiled before the American public in a way that can be a bit shameful, I think?
Yeah, I'm not sure how this ends. Let's play it by ear.
It's not a bad joke. It's not.
It could have been half as long if you just say, let's play it by ear.
Well, the context wouldn't have made sense, Dan. I'm a grammarist.
Don't be so defensive. Just take it.
Tony Allen. Ooh, where do you think of with Tony Allen? Grizzly.
Why are you moving it to basketball? What
Ironically
is
enough, I
finance-
just think Andrew Bogut. You say Tony Allen. I don't think Grindfather. I think they nuked the whole thing by putting Andrew Bogut on
I
him.
thought of a good one. Giancarlo Stanton.
The reason that Tony Allen is funny is because Tony Allen had a career in the NBA, and the only thing I associate it with is the start of the Warriors dynasty. That they figured out, just leave Tony Allen open. He plays the whole game in like workers' construction boots.
That's what I think of, Timberland boots.
Like he's just, yes, I love grinding defense. He represents the soul of the city. Oh my God, there goes a dynasty for 10 years because they figured out, just leave him open.
Let him shoot.
Just
He's got the ball, let him shoot. Bricked everything.
No, but the game really changed right there. Like when I think of, you have to understand when he mentions Tony Allen and the word association that I'm playing. You say, what do you think of Roger Clemens in a uniform? I've got a guy in construction boots. He's at the 3-point line. He's wide open. The jersey doesn't matter. The thing I know is that shot's not going in.
He's got an orange vest on.
And Golden State's going to win for 10 years after that. Like Tony Allen is unlike almost anybody in professional basketball that I point at him and I say, that's where basketball changed, right at his Dickies work boots.
2013, 2014, he shot 23% from three.
All right, Zaz just walked in here. Mike, talk to us here. What are you looking at?
I think the pseudoscientists that dismiss this were onto something. There's nothing.
Or
here.
he had a clean ear?
Nah, it doesn't work.
That shit's dirty.
Okay, so now all we've got left is Roy. Roy, let's wrap this up so that we get this payoff here at the end of the segment and see if you have secretly dirty ears. Now, Zaz, did you ever hear any crackling? Because Roy heard crackling, and the crackling is supposed to be the vacuuming. When this happened to me, there was stuff in my ear. Maybe a pseudoscience, but it did pull stuff out of my ear.
I mean, maybe. All right, everybody take it easy.
Whoa!
Everybody calm down.
Whoa!
Everybody
Don't let him
calm
speak.
down.
No,
Hey,
you're
you're
done.
used to sitting in
You're
chairs.
done.
Come on.
You're done.
Everybody calm down. It looked like you were going to injure yourself.
See that replay.
There's no coming back from that.
Sitting-
like, whoa,
Please
whoa,
tell
whoa.
me you guys have the camera shot of Zaz being incapable of sitting down in a segment where we talked about what difference does it make that I never played the game. Zaz struggled with sitting in a chair.
Which you shouldn't.
Tony, slump buster.
There
Look
it
at that. Yeah, you got a good joke off.
What an idiot.
All right, we'll wait to see if Roy has dirty ears next.